It's not even controversial anymore.
People know in Florida their freedoms are going to be respected.
Miranda, hello.
Hello.
Miami's going to have a lot of visitors in a few years when Trump's presidential library opens there. I guess I'm a little surprised he didn't choose New York City, only because that's kind of where he built who he is today. But Florida has embraced him more.
Yeah, Florida, not only Florida, but also specifically the Miami Cuban population has also very much embraced him, which is, I think, why they kind of settled on this particular location right across from Freedom Tower here in Miami.
And the Freedom Tower I'm familiar with what it is. It reminds me a lot of the clock tower we have in Spokane, Washington. A little prettier, a little different, but what does that represent?
So that was the official building that back when all the Cuban migrants were coming over during Fidel Castro's reign and stuff, they'd go directly to that building to seek asylum and get their papers.
Oh.
So that tower was designated as Freedom Tower by the Cuban refugees that came to Miami.
Gotcha. So it's in downtown Miami. It's going to be next to the Freedom Tower. And then Trump, of course, also wants to build a hotel next to it. Is it going to be a Trump hotel or just a hotel?
For sure, a Trump hotel.
Yeah.
We already have quite a few. I was working at the Trump Royale just 2 days ago. So we have a lot of different Trump hotels. And I doubt that the hotel will be part of the acreage that is being designated for this project for the museum or the library. But, he's Trump. I'm sure he's going to figure out a way to keep his name going forevermore.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be beautiful and gold gilded and all of those things. So, all right. I want to talk about Governor DeSantis had a press conference this morning on education. It's something we're discussing a lot on the show today as well. Much different education system in Florida, though, certainly when it comes to school choice and all of that. I wanted to play a couple clips from it. He's just so great. So he talks about the importance of the American education system and making sure that young people in Florida leave more informed, not only from an academic perspective, but about how the country and the world around them works.
People are going to pursue a wide variety of paths, but every single person that we send out of this K-12 system of ours is going to be called upon to exercise the duties of being an American citizen. And it's incumbent upon us to ensure they're not just a blank slate when they get out of here, that they actually have a foundation to understand what are the principles that have made America unique. What does it mean to be in America? Why have people fought and died defending this country? And if we're doing that, then we're doing our part so that they can go out and make the most of this really unique opportunity to be a citizen of this republic. And some will want to get involved in civic affairs. Maybe some will just be diligent about voting every election. Maybe some people get involved in their local community. But having that foundation, I think, is really, really important.
Yeah, you see how it's not about, trying to push like a conservative ideology on kids. It's about, just Americanism and voting. And it's not about who you vote for and all these things. And I think that's fundamentally the difference. I mean, in schools like ours, they want to send kids out with their ideology and worldview. In Florida, he says, no, we want them to know that it's important to be engaged in this system of ours.
Like he said, he doesn't want people to leave K through 12 with a blank person just ready to be, further indoctrinated in whatever, advanced education they go into. But it's also just like creating that foundation of respect for being an American and wanting to continue to contribute to that in whatever way they decide to do that.
Yeah, being a good, productive citizen. So they're offering teachers, and apparently this is something they have been doing, an extra, is it a monetary incentive?
Yeah, it's a $3,000 bonus for this additional certification that they're offering.
Let's listen to him explain what it is.
We have a Civic Seal of Excellence program for teachers because we can sit there and tell you, you need to read Federalist number 10, you need to read the debate at the Federal Convention, you need to read all this stuff, and that's fine, but you have to have teachers that, one, are passionate about it, but then have a solid understanding. So our program gives them a $3,000 bonus if they go through the program. 50 hours, we got great scholars from around the country talking about all the influences that went into the founding of the United States of America. And the people that go through that, they're blown away by all this stuff, because in a lot of universities around this country, that's not what they're focused on.
Man, I want to take that. I just love any class about America. I mean, every teacher should be required to take that. I don't necessarily think it should be paid, but okay.
Yeah, but I think offering that additional incentive will probably also get people who are already interested in civics to want to like further that passion. And I think that a lot of teachers, you can tell when they're passionate about what they teach, and being passionate about just civics in general and the history of America, I think is very important to push and make sure kids are involved in that at a young age.
Should be required viewing for every member of the Washington Education Association. This last part I'm really passionate about. As you know, I wanted to do the news from a young age. I wanted to be like a war correspondent, and we used to always watch the news together as a family. And I decided in the 6th grade that I was going to focus on that, trying to get into that career. And so I joined speech. And I really believe that that shaped sort of where my life is, and those skills of debating and learning and speaking and communicating. And Governor DeSantis said that they're trying to emphasize that in their schools as well. Here he is.
We now have the most robust speech and debate initiative of all 50 states. Every school district in Florida is a part of our speech and debate initiative. And I think we have the championships in the spring that we'll do again. And I just think that's valuable, because it's easy for someone to be in their own little cocoon and just regurgitate things. But you may have to, in speech and debate, argue for something that conflicts with your priors. Maybe you got to question your assumptions. Maybe you actually have to think a little bit outside the box and make an argument. And in an era where so many people are on smartphones and stuff, to be able to stand up and express yourself and articulate a position, I think is really, really important. So we're proud of what we've done there.
I mean, I think that is two of the most important things you can leave school with, K through 12, is critical thinking skills, which debate gives you, and public speaking skills. Communicating in this world is so critically important. And I mean, way too many adults, in their 40s, 50s, 60s, who cannot communicate properly, and it can really make your life more difficult.
Yeah, for sure. And speech and debate, that enters every aspect of your life, not just when you're talking politics. That can go into any sort of relationship in business, at home, and the same with just general communication skills and skills on knowing how to debate with facts and letting people speak their piece and then having an educated rebuttal. That's not just for politics. That is a life skill.
Yeah.
And I do remember us growing up, and you were every morning practicing your speech. Like, we all had your speeches memorized, because we'd be like in the car on the way to school, getting ready, and she's just like doing her speech over and over and over again. I remember that very well.
Hey, that's how I became a state speech champion. The only thing I ever won state in. Wasn't ever going to do it for volleyball, but state speech champion. I'm very proud of that. And I would encourage every parent. I mean, I don't know if there's a more important thing you could put your child in or have your child be interested in high school. So I love that you guys, and I love that Governor DeSantis recognizes that in Florida. All right, Miranda, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
It's not even controversial anymore.
People know in Florida their freedoms are going to be respected.